So it was Fasting God on Twitter. So going back to the FUD bullshit articles and stuff like that and the Interpol thing. So Fasting God started a petition to Europe about Finland and their kind of gross overreach of using a red notice with Interpol for alleged crimes that are nowhere near the level of what you do typically see on a Interpol red notice. Just their gross overreach against Richard. I think I did send you that one, right? You have it there. Yeah.
I think I
So
have it pulled up.
this one's a little bit more lengthy, so I'll try to paraphrase. But Fasting God says, I've officially submitted a petition using the European Parliament to investigate the Finnish state's alleged unjust actions against Richard Hart. If the petition is accepted, it will be deemed admissible by the Committee on Petitions, which will then determine the appropriate course of action under Article 227 of the Parliament's Rules of Procedure. Once deemed admissible, any European citizen or resident of the EU will have the opportunity to sign and support the petition. As a European citizen, I believe it's my responsibility to address injustices occurring with a fellow member state, especially when these actions directly impact not only my personal investments, but also those of other European international investors. The petition is Stop Unfair Practices, a call to investigate Finland's actions against Richard Schuller, call for transparency, fairness, and oversight in the case of Richard Schuller and its broader implications for investor rights and market integrity. To the honorable members of the European Parliament, how long are we looking here? I just want to get a gauge of how long this is before I read the whole thing. All right. We, the undersigned, hereby petition the European Parliament to investigate and address the procedural and ethical concerns surrounding the Finnish government's handling of the case against Richard Hart, which has led to significant repercussions for the cryptocurrency community, investors, and the principle of justice itself. Then he gives a background of the case that I'm not going to read the entirety of, just the lack of transparency by the Finnish leaders, blah, blah, blah. Broader implications. This case highlights critical issues that extend beyond an individual's legal challenges. It sets a concerning precedent for how governments and legal authorities may act without accountability, potentially harming markets, investors, and public trust and judicial fairness. It's basically lawfare. Crypto Coffee was using that term on a video today. I mean, it's just what they've done to Donald Trump, what they're doing to Elon Musk. Like, you make a good product, you make a lot of money, people want to shake you down by making shit up about you. Then he says, call to action. We respectfully request that the European Parliament take the following actions: investigate the Finnish authorities' conduct and conduct an independent review of the procedural and ethical practices employed in the Richard Schuller case. This review should examine whether due process has been followed and whether the use of media and international most wanted lists is appropriate. Establish guidelines for ethical practices, recommend EU-wide standards for how member states handle high-profile cases, ensuring that transparency, fairness, and the presumption of innocence are upheld, protect market integrity and investor rights, investigate the broader economic impact of the case on investors in the cryptocurrency market, recommend measures to safeguard the markets from undue harm caused by state actions, ensure oversight of Interpol and Europol listings, review the criteria for inclusion and international wanted list to prevent misuse or overreach that could unfairly harm individuals and regulations. Conclusion, this petition is not a defense of any wrongdoing, but a call for fairness, transparency, and accountability. The European Parliament must ensure that justice is administered without bias, disproportionate actions, or collateral harm to investors and markets. We urge you to act promptly to address the pressing matter. I mean, this is awesome. I don't know what kind of legs it will get in getting the petition available for folks to sign. But I think it's great.
Yeah. I don't know much about European, how Parliament, I don't know much about their system. Just because I've never dealt with it. Right.
Right.
The one thing that concerns me is this going to bring attention that it doesn't need? I know it's already getting some. However, if there's no public record of it, is this? I just don't want it to do more harm than good. I don't want people jumping on the bandwagon that hadn't heard about this because of this. So that's my only fear, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think it's terrific that somebody's at least standing up to it. I don't know where it will necessarily go, but I think one thing is clear, and that's that Finland, which is, obviously nothing against the Finnish people or anything that live there. I mean, we have plenty of
Right.
great people here in America and have had, horrible leadership. So, I mean, we understand that that happens, but Finland is obviously overreaching. They're not a large country or anything. There was a guy that made a lot of money that lived in their country for a period of time that they're trying to shake down. I mean, it's basically like the SEC, where in their case, a bunch of unelected officials that just want to take money from somebody that actually innovated something, and that's what Finland's doing too. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool effort. I don't know where it'll necessarily go, but I mean, here's the thing. To me, it reminds me of the amicus briefs and stuff that we file,
Right.
just to
Right.
see, people stand up like this to make the noise, even if it ultimately gets nowhere or squashed or whatever. You're not seeing this in most crypto communities. I mean, you're just not going to see that. And I think the fact that there are people out here making these efforts when they see unjust things like this is a huge sign. And if nothing else, and if it doesn't get anything done and, nothing even comes of the Finland thing anyway, this at the very least is an indicator of how bullish everybody should be on this ecosystem. The fact that somebody's going to work to do something like this and it's got as many impressions and likes in it that it does. I know that's not like the purpose of why this was written, but that should be an indicator to people like, I might want to be involved in this ecosystem if these people care this much.
Yep. So Victor asked him, "Are we encouraged to, or are European citizens encouraged? What can we do to help it succeed? Can't sign it just yet. They need to approve it first. Direct democracy should. Never mind. So yeah, again, it's a petition. It's not anything more than that. And like you said, you put it in like with the amicus briefs, and all it can do is, I guess, help. Hopefully, I don't want anybody going out of their lane, essentially, which can come back to cause more harm than good. I just hope people are thinking this stuff through when approaching Parliament and approaching some of these things. That's my only fear. I think Richard's got it under control. I just don't want anybody causing more harm than what they realize. They meant well, but sometimes you're better to stay in your lane and mind your own business. If somebody's got things taken care of and they say they're handling things, I don't know. That's my only concern. Again,
I don't think it's anything to be concerned over. Like, I don't think he's overstepping bounds or anything here. I mean, it's just to have a petition signed to show that people are out here caring about it and witnessing what Finland is doing, because Finland is not a significant country. You know what I mean? So to challenge Finland is kind of like, more worthwhile than challenging, I would say, like Russia or something.
Sure.
So
I just didn't want any countries to, so he lived in Finland. Maybe he moved to somewhere else and they get a bright idea of, well, he lived here too and didn't pay us any taxes. Let's go after him as well. Because he did.
I think the point is, I mean, I don't know this, obviously, and it could be totally wrong, but I think the point is that reading between the lines, I think Richard's maybe gone to a place where none of that stuff is affecting him. I don't think the Interpol stuff he may not be in that jurisdiction anymore. So,
that would be my guess. That would be my guess too. So let's hope. He says he's safe. He says he's bulletproof. We got to trust the man and trust the system. So.
Yep, he's got his bulletproof vest on, so that is good. And I like this news. It's cool that somebody's out there doing it. If, like I said, if nothing else, it just shows the kind of stuff this community does. That's just awesome that we've seen over time. So,